Greetings. If you are new to my channel, my name is Wa, and I am going to attempt to make this a concise video about something that I would like to talk about. What I've been witnessing, something that I've been witnessing lately on my self-love journey out here in these spiritual streets, which I am privileged to share. There is oftentimes a lot of misunderstandings that happen in communication, sometimes intentional and sometimes unintentional. And what I mean by intentional is that sometimes people are intentionally um, being a certain way and creating certain circumstances, and sometimes they're not, and sometimes it's a mixture of both. Nevertheless, I have been witnessing people take someone giving them advice as, oh my God, this person is being negative and they're trying to control me. Like, so for example, somebody has a friend and their friend has an alcohol abuse problem, and then they, advise them, that kindly advise them that they should stop drinking so much and start to do something else so that they could rehabilitate, some genuine, kind, compassionate advice being misconstrued as the person being negative and controlling. And sometimes this happens because people are just, sometimes they're not so strong in their mentality to where others have manipulated them. And so then, they just try to, I don't know, intentionally or unintentionally use the same tactic. But, you know, thank God I'm using my brain, enough to know the difference between when I'm being kind and compassionate with somebody and giving them kind and compassionate advice versus being controlling. Controlling would be me telling somebody, hey, if you don't do this, then I'm going to do this. Because that's what a controlling person would do. It would be very much an ultimatum type of situation. But it is not controlling for somebody to tell someone that they love or that they care about, or even fuck it, if it's just charity, somebody out there on the streets. If you're advising a homeless person like how they can get some housing and resources, that's not being controlling. You're not trying to control them, you're just trying to help. So, there's a lot of miscommunication out there in the world where people think that someone trying to provide some constructive, positive help as being controlling and negative. So that was the message that I wanted to share. Um, you know, Oftentimes people are controlled mentally by others, and then they try to control others, with other false realities. So, for example, somebody can be controlled by somebody in their environment just by believing this person's lie. Somebody could tell somebody, like, hey, I was being this way towards you because you were doing XYZ. And that person could have not been doing XYZ, but if they believe that they were doing XYZ, then that's that person controlling their mind right there. And, when someone is in their complete acceptance, or even just certain levels of acceptance and certain levels of self love, then people are not going to be able to control them in that way and try to tell them that they're doing something that they weren't doing and make them believe it. Okay? Because when somebody loves themselves and accepts themselves on a certain level, then they're going to know without a shadow of a doubt that what that person is saying is false, and that they really, truly are good, so much, to say about that. But something important for everybody is just self love and acceptance. It's so much harder for people to be manipulated and lied to and mentally controlled when they love and accept themselves enough to know what they're doing in every moment. And then any false accusations or false realities cannot be projected upon them. Somebody can say whatever they want to say, and it's just said. It's like, okay, and that's not true. But if you want to keep continuing in false realities, then that's your choice. You know what I'm saying? So, because we don't have to argue with anybody, and that's another thing I want to say really quickly. You see somebody out there in the world in your self love journey, miscommunication with a family member or friend. You don't have to argue. You don't have to argue. If you know the truth and you know what they're saying is false, you can just let it be. If they want to carry on in a false reality, then that's their choice. Just know who you are with that self-love and self-compassion, because that will protect you from being manipulated by other people's false realities and false lies. So that was a message that I wanted to share today, about the self-love journey out here in these spiritual streets. I hope everybody's holding it together, because, it can get tough. But when somebody comes, with something that's false, and you are strong in your character, you've been practicing. How does somebody get strong in their character? How does somebody get strong in their mindset? Okay, so this is cultivated through continuous love and acceptance of everything. Like, somebody can come, blowing smoke about something from 10 years ago, and you will be like, okay, and, because you dealt with that part of yourself already. Can't nobody pull back the curtain, and be like, oh, well, I know what you was doing 10 years ago. Yeah, we was all there in the Most High scene, and we had a party. Can nobody make somebody feel bad about something that they have accepted themselves for already? Can nobody manipulate somebody for what they have accepted enough to where it's no longer a vulnerability that's for somebody to either exploit or manipulate them on? That's a whole nother topic, a whole nother video, and I want to do my best to keep this one short. So I'm going to summarize it up again by just saying, if you ever find yourself or ever see someone that you know getting in these type of situations, just remember or share that there's no reason to entertain those false realities. If somebody's saying something false, false accusation, false reality, false story, just let it be. Let them continue on in that false reality, because the greatest thing that you can ever demonstrate to anybody who is choosing false realities is the truth of your self-love. It's very, very important, okay? Because at the end of the day, when you know the truth, you know who you are, and you love yourself enough, you've loved and accepted yourself enough to where somebody can't try to project something false upon you. You might not be able to change their mindset. You might not be able to strengthen their weaknesses for them. But the greatest thing that you can ever demonstrate to them is your self-love, your self-acceptance, your self-compassion, your self-understanding. Because it is those things that keep you from getting caught up in the manipulation of their false realities. I don't argue with people. Somebody came at me with some of that, recently. And I was just like, okay. Excuse me. I was like, false. And that's the end of that. And I realized that if I try to defend myself to this person, I'm not going to go over 11 minutes. Give myself time limits. I got to get back to work anyways. I'm not going to defend myself to this person, because there's no reason for me to defend myself. I love myself. I love myself. So what do I need to defend? And I'm saying this to humanity, because I think that that's how people get caught up in unnecessary arguments with people. What do you need to defend when you love yourself? Somebody saying something false, that's them. That's their coursework. That's their classroom. They ain't even on the same coursework as you, and therefore they ain't gonna be able to understand where you coming from. If you say it, they're gonna accuse you of what they're already accusing you of just by you trying to tell them what they're saying is false. So it's literally a waste of time, in my opinion, based on this experiment that I know as self love. The self love journey experiment, meaning what I do, you know. Everybody is free and welcome to do as they choose because I've never been a controlling person. Always love, always compassion, and always just sharing out of love and compassion. Wishing everybody lots of love and self-love and self-compassion. Please do share this video, comment, like, subscribe, support my channel. I'm doing my best to share messages that I believe will be beneficial, and I would love to see the messages shared and the channel grow. Thank you so much for your time, and have a beautiful day out there in those spiritual streets in your self-love journey.